Mga boss, ito ang malaking pagkakaiba ni dating Pangulong PRRD at PBBM, lalo na sa isang interview sa mga media, mga boss, no? Itong si dating Pangulong PRRD ay matapang at totoong talaga sa kanyang mga sagot, mga boss, no? At pag binabatikos siya ay talagang binabalikan niya. Samantalang ito ang ating Pangulo ngayon na si PBBM ay sobrang bait, mga boss, at laging mapagkumbaba at malaling nakatawa lang, mga boss, at talagang nakakamiss talaga itong si PRRD, mga boss, no? Dahil talagang lumalaban siya at hindi siya nagpapatalo, lalo na sa mga dayuhan. Ito ating panoorin, mga boss, at hindi ito nakakasawa at masarap na balik-balikan ang dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
One thing you haven't delivered on yet is your promise to ride a jet ski out to the disputed territory in the South China Sea and plant the Philippine flag on there. Now, many people, many voters, I assume, took that as a sign that you were going to be tough on China in that disputed territory in the South China Sea or the West Philippine Sea, but you haven't been. Why?
Do you really think that I would go there riding? I don't even own a jet.
No, I don't. But people perceived that as a sign that you were going to get tough with China.
It was a hyperbole. Literally, you cannot expect to ride. I don't even know how to swim. And if it overturns, then you lose a president along the way.
So why did you say that then? What were you referring?
Yeah, hyperbole. To stress a point that we will not give up anything there.
But your statements recently tend to indicate that you are willing to give up some territory there.
No, it does. Nobody's going to give up the judgment that it's in our favor. I cannot give it up. Nobody can give it up. Nobody in the Constitution allows anybody to give it up. Even the President cannot give it up. Those are our entitlements. This is an island. Every country in this world is given its own fish pond. That's your fish pond where you get the fish, the shells and everything. You cannot give it up. You can only negotiate to prevent war. Remember that okay, I'll push your logic to this logical conclusion. We have this judgment, right? Two things. I can go into a rage because it's being occupied. But remember, it is not a sovereignty that is there. It's the entitlement attached to it is the sovereignty. Okay? The other is to go into a rage and fight, and the other is to talk. What do you think will happen to my country if I choose to go to war? I fight alone? Or I would call upon the other countries to help me? Who? Who would die for my country except us? So we can only talk. And that's why they invited me for talks. I will go. But I will go with this paper.
A blank sheet
Mr.
of paper.
President, yeah, I said, this is the award. I cannot go out beyond the boundaries of this paper. Let's talk. Let's begin here.
The Philippines won a landmark case against China, unprecedented in recent history, a smaller country standing up to a superpower. It declared the 9-dash claim of China invalid. Now, you're going to China, and you've mentioned previously, you said that you will not insist on the position of the Philippines on the Scarborough Shoal. Now, your critics are questioning why it seems you're going to China and negotiating from a position of weakness rather than of strength.
It would be arrogant to me to go there and say, I'm going there to fight for this and that. You know, there's much to be learned in history, and even in the books, and the way the Orientals places the words in his mouth, especially the Chinese. You have to go there with a little bit of courtesy. But when you are already in front of each other, then I said, this is it. We do not go. What would be the purpose in going there without this? For what?
But you can guarantee to the Philippine people that you are not going to sign away or give up hope of give up fighting for the Spratlys, Scarborough Shoal.
Yes, in the first
they are
place I
Philippine
said-
territory.
Nobody, not even the president of this country, can give up the claim. You are not allowed to do that. That is one sure way of going to impeachment.
But can you guarantee that you will fight to
Yeah,
maintain
of course.
those?
Nobody's going to give up anything there. I said, if the Constitution does not allow you, then who can? Then not even your mouth. That's how it is.
What deals are you hoping to do when you go to China?
Well, maybe we talk about. I would know. I would not know the wherewithal, so where we would start. Then the judgmental thing would come into fore. Then some other matters about trade and commerce, and if there's any arrangement, if we want to come to a happy compromise, then we can talk about entitlements of the China Sea. But really, I cannot predict on any solid thing to talk about until I'm there. So I am not there until I am there.
Will you discuss the war on drugs? Because records show that a lot
course.
of the drugs coming into the Philippines
Yes.
are coming from
They
China.
understand it. That's why they'd like to help. But you know, China now is a democracy. I mean, the communist is just something which is just a thing to go by, to keep control. But everything there is a free enterprise.
Mr. President, you have clearly moved away from the United States. Why do you think it is necessary for the country to distance itself from its long-standing ally in Asia?
Just because I'm going to China doesn't mean to say that I'm moving away from the United States.
But you talked about pursuing a different paradigm.
What I'm saying is that please do not be too discourteous for us. Because if you think that we are bad, you are in a bad company, you're free to go. I mean, what kind of a friend are you that instead of following the normal process of due process for my country, when I was mayor, it was okay. But when I was a president, you should be careful. Because whether you like me or not, I may be insignificant to you, but I carry the burden of sovereignty. So if you begin to insult me in international fora without any going into a legal investigation, then you put to shame every Filipino out there.
So are you saying if the US had not publicly criticized the war on drugs, then relations would be normal now, as they have been for
No, I would
many
say
decades?
had America just followed the normal procedure of calling the attention of a country to a certain violation that would affect the laws of humanity, it could have just followed the due process, which is normally accorded to everybody by going to the United Nations, airing the grievance, if you may, for other people, then demanding that there should be an investigation. It should begin in the internal body of the United Nations, because we are, or the Philippines is, a member of the United Nations.
So if they had done that, relations would be normal now, military ties would be normal?
I said this Orientalist, you just be courteous. We are not used to being bamboozled and just, Mr. Duterte, you know that the serious violations could result in the cutting of AIDS. That is not acceptable to us, actually. We call it in our dialect boy boy, and in the Tagalog it's
Sumbat.
you give things to them and say, oh, I give you these things and you're not doing what I want. That is a very serious mistake.
So there have been some contradictory statements lately about military relations in particular between the Philippines and the US, contradictory from you and some other members of your government. Can we just clear up a couple of things?
Yes.
Will military ties, military exercises with the US end now?
It ends now.
Okay. Will you walk away from the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement that was signed by your predecessor?
I
2
may,
years ago?
upon a review with the military authorities.
How are you feeling now? Which way are you leaning?
They should know my sentiment.
What
But
is-
it would depend on the advice of the military
What is your sentiment?
They know my sentiment. Everybody knows my sentiment. You know my sentiment.
That you will end that.
Yes, because I said if I'm in a bad company, then why bear with me?
So that's without finality yet, basically, you're saying.
I said I have to consult the military.
You also have a mutual defence agreement, mutual defence treaty that was signed back in 1951. Will you walk away from that?
I cannot abrogate it.